Good morning. We are going to go over the Guidance 47 final exam today. I'm going to give you some information that you're going to need to study on for the questions. Let me tell you a little bit about the exam itself. It is worth 100 points. There are 25 questions, therefore each question is worth 4 points. There were 12 chapters in the textbook. 2 questions will be from each chapter, and the last question is a very personal takeaway from the course. Basically, the question asks, what is your biggest takeaway from this course? What has been most validated for you? And for that last question, I would expect definitely more than just 1 or 2 sentences. I want you to answer that in some depth, probably at least a paragraph, and a good summary of how you feel this course has helped you understand who you are more. All right, so I'm not going to go over every individual question because some are very personal and they'll be very individualized. Therefore, they don't need to be discussed. It's things that you probably already know about yourself. But there are some very important things that we did learn about in this course that you need to refresh on so that you'll be able to answer these questions. All right, I'm going to go down the list, and the first one that you're going to need to refresh will be your Holland interest type code. I need you to know what that is and to be able to define what that each letter in that acronym means, and what your Holland type code. I need you to be able to define that. You need to understand what a positive affirmation is, and the Myers-Briggs type inventory that we took. That was the 16 personalities type code. You're going to need it similar to the Holland interest type code. You're going to need to know what your MBTI personality type code is and to be able to define that. You need to understand what a skill is. Consider skills that you have now and skills that you want to work on. One of the other questions is asking about what types of advantages and disadvantages that you could possibly face in reaching towards your career goal. And those disadvantages and advantages correlate with your age, sex, race, or physical limitations. So considering those aspects, could there be advantages and disadvantages, and what would they be? You need to know and do some studying research about resources in researching your career goals. So we talked a lot about different resources, right? We use things like assist.org. That's more of an educational resource to help you figure out what types of universities. Of course, your degree is something that you're going to need to research to know how much of a degree you're going to need for the career that you're choosing, right? What are some of the other resources that you use into researching jobs and careers? Do you use LinkedIn? Do you use TikTok? Do you use all these different things that are helping you to research different areas in careers? You need to remember and study what a SMART goal is. Remember, that is also another acronym, and I want you to be able to define what a SMART goal is. Think about a current SMART goal that you have. Okay, moving on. In line with resources, I also want you to consider what types of activities or programs, associations, professional organizations that you can be involved in at this point that are going to help you along your career goal. Consider things that you can do right now. What types of things can you do right now that are going to help you? In chapter 10, we talked about resumes. We talked about chronological and functional resumes. There's also a combined resume that combines those two types of resumes. And you should have a resume. You do have a resume now. So this is the point in your life where you need to have a resume. And we did that in this class. That was one of our activities. So this point in your life is when you need to have a resume. Chapter 11 was about interviewing, and I want you to consider and think about all of the different ways that you prepare for an interview. We prepare as far as physical appearance. We prepare in research background on the company that we're interviewing with. We do research into the type of position. We research body language. There's all different kinds of things that you can consider when you're preparing for an interview. And so think about all those things. Review that chapter maybe and look at the list. I know we didn't go into too much detail on that chapter, but go and look at the list of that. I want you to design an ending interview question. So I would say probably 90% of the time, if not 100, you're going to be asked at the end of an interview if you have any questions. And there are appropriate and non-appropriate questions. So a non-appropriate question would be like talking about benefits or pay or vacation, things like that. Those are the kinds of things that you can ask for if you don't already know. You can ask those after you've been offered a position. And so your ending question is going to be something that you want to know about the position. There's great ending questions. Do a quick Google search on, I think you could also call them exit interview. I wouldn't know if I'm exiting interview questions or end of interview questions. And try to find one that you think feels comfortable for you to ask and would make sense in the type of career that you're looking for. Okay, so consider and think up several different ending interview questions and have those ready. What are the next steps that you're taking towards your career goals? Think about what those are. What do you need to be doing next? And really, those are the main things. So maybe reread that. It's about 10-minute video. Maybe review this once or twice before the final exam. Review those certain topics that I told you. A lot of it is very specific. Things like the Holland, the MBTI, the SMART goals. Very specific information that you need to know. A lot of the other questions are going to be, again, individualized and your personal experience and thoughts. Okay, good luck to you. Again, I'll be there Thursday at 2:15 to help answer any questions, okay? All right, take care.